This is a production of KMmedia.pro. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple: to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show, today, ladies and gentlemen, we get to feature one of the top 100 coaches in the world today. Yes, I did say the world today. Her name is Allyson Roberts, and she is with us for the entire hour. I hope that you'll stay with us, because we've got lots to discuss, including, oh, by the way, Eric.
Yes.
Eric is our producer.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Do you realize that it is December already?
December 5th already. Yeah.
Holy crap, you're right. What happened to the 4th for the 1st? They're gone already.
I don't know what happened to the last 4 years, to be honest. They just disappeared like that. But
it amazes me how much time is going. It's supposed to slow down when you get older so that you can live your last years in relative peace and harmony, and they can last longer. They are going so dang fast, it's hard to believe.
True enough.
And by the way, is it going to snow anymore? Are we done with that?
We may see a few flakes, but it looks like it's warming up, and mostly it's just going to be rainy.
Well, I can live with the rainy part. It's a sliding on the slushy part that I don't like very much.
I hear that. Yeah. So it looks like you're going to be in good shape.
Oh, very good, very good. I know you just did the weather, but I wasn't listening, so I need you to do it again for me. So thank you very much, Eric and Allyson. It is such a pleasure to see you again. You look beautiful, darling.
You look beautiful also.
You don't have to lie. Come on. This is radio.
Your light is shining bright.
It is so much fun to talk to you. The last time that we had an opportunity was right before your event that you had in October. And I want to touch bases with that, because sadly I wasn't able to attend, and I apologize for that. But you had a great time, and it was a powerful event. Tell us about it.
It was amazing. So in 2021, we kicked off Behind the Power during COVID. And we had 27 people come in person, which I was thrilled about. And this year we had 71 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So we tripled attendance, which was fantastic. A week before the event, our VA company told us that they weren't going to be able to do a virtual option. So we did not have a virtual option. We only had a in-person attendance. But, I don't think I'm going to offer a virtual option because we were able to really build a strong community while we were there. And it was phenomenal. It was incredible.
Well, that's what it is about the work that you do, because when in preparation for Behind the Power, I had the opportunity to interview all the speakers that were going to be there during the event, and there's some remarkable people, and there's some people that have gone through some remarkable things.
Yes.
One of which was, the three people actually. One's name is John, and he's an incredible young man, and he's an awesome dude. But the ones that got me the most was the gal that and you'll know her name is Jennifer, I believe.
Yes,
I think it's Jennifer that said at one time that she was in bed like 20 hours a day. Maybe it wasn't.
True.
Was that Jennifer? Okay, good.
Yep.
I was worried there for a second.
Jennifer, and in bed 20 hours a day, sick, depressed, hopeless, all the things. And man, she is just kicking. She's thriving. She's out at appointments and working and up and around. It's amazing.
And that's got to be heartwarming.
It is. She's flying all over the place now, and she's living.
And the other one, and her name escapes me, but you'll remind me, because this is an incredible story, and I want to have her back on again because she lives in the Keys, and she's got a little sanctuary, It's not a large sanctuary, but what she does is she specializes in end-of-life care for dogs.
Yes, and Kevin, since the event, her name's Karen Thomas, it's Peyton's Promise. Since the event, her work has exploded. I mean, she is so busy. She's doing so many amazing, incredible things, getting dogs adopted that were unadoptable and bringing dogs that are older, like back to life, literally back to life, earning, their trust and she's an angel. She really is.
Most of these dogs are considered terminal, and she saves a lot of them from the shelter, and because in some cases it's a kill shelter, and so she saves them. And the other thing that she does that I find, I don't know how she does it. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. Is that she takes care of dogs on their last day.
Yeah.
And she gives them the best experience that animal can have on the last day they're on this planet. And you're right. She is absolutely an angel.
She is. She is. And she, at 7 years old, she saw the vision and got the calling to do the work. And it's a miracle is what it is.
And you know what was interesting about all of those and those people that I just mentioned is they all came to me through you because of the work you've done with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable, young lady.
Yeah. It's such a privilege and an honor.
I get to talk to a lot of coaches, but I don't get to talk to a lot of coaches, associates, for lack of a better term. I was going to say patients, but I can't say that. But people that hire you to work with them, and they are 2-1, two-person. They think you walk on water.
Well, I don't. But I think what it is, Kevin, is that they know that I truly love them, because I do. I'm in this work not for the money, but for their results. Yes, I make money. I have bills I have to pay, but I'm not one of these coaches that is, hoping that I'm going to have $100,000 months and, make $10 million a year, even though, I'm not, hey, celebrities, if you're out there and you want to hire me for that much, I'm not saying I'm not hireable. But what I'm saying is that their result, their ability to do a 180 in their lives and actually overcome trauma, not just deal with it, but actually really overcome it and finally put it to bed, put it to rest. That's why, they give me the credit, but the credit really belongs back to them, because they're the ones that are doing the work. They're the ones that are taking the work seriously and applying it to their lives every day. And because of that, they have a new experience. They get to go out and live amazing and beautiful, just their dream lives, and they're doing it. All of them are doing it.
Is it fair to say that you're kind of like a mirror for them?
I would hope that that's the case. Yes. I've put a lot of my own trauma to rest. And I definitely strive every single day to be better today than I was yesterday. And I feel like I do lead by example. I know how to have a really hard conversation with people when they aren't showing up for themselves. I think a lot of coaches shy away from being like, listen, the reason that you're not seeing any results is because you're just not doing work. A lot of coaches are afraid to talk like that because they're afraid that they're going to get fired. If someone fires me, that is on them. I can't, and I rarely ever get fired because I do have the hard conversations, and I'm having those hard conversations from a place of love. Because when people hire me, it's like, you're hiring me to build a new life for yourself, to have a better relationship with money, to have a better relationship with love, to have a better relationship with your body, to even have a better relationship with your past. And so if they're not doing the work, they're not going to see those results. And I think that that's why my clients love me. It's because when they are stuck and struggling, I don't just play along with them. And I'm not like, oh, you poor baby, I'm so sorry. I'm like, well, this is not going to work, and we need to turn this around.
Every person that I talked to said that in spades, that you don't let them get away with basically the bull crap that we all tell ourselves.
Yep, that's it.
And
I don't.
And that serves them, because they recognize, even as it comes out of our mouth, we realize and recognize the bull crap that we're trying to sell.
It's true. Yeah. And, one of the things that I have people do when they first start working with me is creating a vision for themselves. And most of us, our vision is too small. So if your vision isn't just scaring the absolute crap out of yourself, then you're just, basically what you're doing is you're just setting a goal, and a goal that is really achievable so that you can say, oh, I did this thing. You can't get away with that with me either. So when people come, they're like, I'm like, you've got to create a vision. Like, what is your vision? I will keep pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. John's a great example. When he and I first started working together, I was like, John, you're miserable in your job. What vision do you have for yourself? And he's like, to find another job. And I'm like, that's not really a vision, and he was like, well, if I had my vision, I would just leave all of this stuff behind and never work in this place again. I'm like, great, that's your vision. That's what we're going for. And he's like, crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy, Allyson. That's what you are. And I'm like, I am crazy. And I want you to get crazy with me. And then not too long after that, he left the Coast Guard, and he had been in the Coast Guard for 3 decades. And the last decade was not a happy one for him. And he is a different person. He is peaceful. He's learning how to become the best version of John. Karen is learning how to become the best version of herself. Jennifer is learning to become, because we're always becoming. We're becoming until we take our very last breath.
And it would be helpful if we recognize that.
Yeah.
But a lot of us don't recognize that.
Well, we don't. Yeah,
and it's too hard, or I can't, or, I've got stories about people that have made that paramount switch from this is really hard to, no, this is easy. I can do this.
Yeah.
And it makes a ton of difference. It makes a ton of stuff. Well, Allyson, by the way, we're talking with Allyson Roberts. Go to AllysonRoberts.com and you can find out all the information you need. She's got an event coming up in February that we're going to talk about. But before February comes, we have January, and we have a couple things I want to say here. First of all, I understand that December for many people is a very, very, very difficult time. And there's a lot of grief around it. A lot of people have passed for whatever reason. People tend to I have a funeral director who's a friend of mine, and people tend to pass right after Christmas because they want to make it through there and stuff. So there's a lot of grief and a lot of negative, and also your family may not be together, and there may be strife, and all that stuff happens in right about now in December. But then January comes, and we're sitting there going, okay, so now what? So I'm asking you, okay, Allyson, so now what? What do we do in January?
Well, can I address December first?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So I was having this conversation earlier this morning.
That's
and somebody was very resistant to me saying the things I'm getting ready to say. And after I spent a solid hour with them, they were like, you know what, everything that you said just makes a lot of sense. So if you're listening, I want you to just take a deep breath, because this is like some new information, and your brain may just immediately reject this. So I want you to just take some deep breath and just tell yourself right now, I am open to there being a better way for me in December. So December, historically for me, has not been the best month. I used to start dreading December in July, August, September. And then it's just, come Halloween, I was already just white knuckling my way through Thanksgiving, Christmas, just get me to January, just get me to January. So because I had a very strong agreement in my brain that Christmas and December and the holidays are really, 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 really hard. So first of all, that's a really strong agreement. And you don't have to live in that agreement anymore if you don't want to. And that doesn't mean that we get all Pollyanna and skip around and be like, wait, I can't wait for Christmas. That's not what it means. What it means is that while you acknowledge your grief, whatever that grief may be, and we do want to acknowledge it and just be like, hello, grief. I see you. I feel you. I know that you're here. You can also decide that you are going to create some new traditions for yourself, that you are going to approach December completely different than the way that you've ever approached it before. And you can make December your month for it to be whatever you want it to be, so that you're not living in the pain of Christmas past. And that's all I have to say about that.
That is really a wonderful opportunity for people to take it upon themselves to do that. As an example, Allyson, and you and I haven't talked about this before, but there was a period in a number of years when my family had Chinese food on Christmas. Do you know why?
The Christmas story, you got to go eat Chinese food.
No, it's because it's the only restaurants that were open because we were near a hospital, because somebody was in the hospital, either my mom or my dad or my grandmother or somebody. And so in order for us to get together as a family, we end up going to a rather pedestrian Chinese restaurant because nothing else was open. And so Christmas became our what the hell is going to happen this year, and to who's it going to happen to?
Yep.
So that's typical of, I think, of all of us to some degree, that it happens, because I don't know anybody that says, "Oh God, thank God Christmas is coming. I'm so excited about it." Now there are a few, but there are most of us that it's kind of an anticlimactic thing. But I love what you're saying, because you can change it.
You can change it, and I grew up in a household where my mother was, how can I say this, delusional. And so she wanted a Hallmark Christmas every year. And, my dad had a really hard time dealing with her anger and narcissism 364 days out of the year. So that one day out of the year was not just like, oh, let's all just be Santa Claus and have like this amazing time now. So growing up was very stressful anyway, and Christmas was always just very weird anyway. And then my parents got divorced, and then Christmas became even weirder. And then, all the things, right? So we all have our like Hanukkah, Christmas, Thanksgiving stories where we can sit around the campfire and be like, oh, I'm going to outdo you with my Christmas story, or I'm going to outdo you with mine. So I'm just going to tell you this year, guys, ladies and gentlemen, let this year be the year that if you don't want to go home for Christmas, because you're only going out of obligation and you're dreading it, don't go home for Christmas. Go somewhere else or stay home. If this is a year that you're just like, I don't want to deal with my alcoholic parents anymore, or my this or that, just decide that, you know what, I'm not going to deal with all of that. Like, you have the power and you have the permission. So, which leads me to January.
Yay, January. Thank God January is finally here.
January! Yes.
So, what about January?
Well, January, New Year's Eve, everybody's like, oh, New Year's resolutions, and most people don't keep them. I mean, honestly, before COVID, not anymore, but before COVID, everything's BC, right? BC used to be before Christ, and now it's before COVID.
That's right.
So my friend owned a gym, and she literally counted on January to pay her rent the entire year. Like every year for decades, she would just be like, ooh, January's coming. January's coming. I'm going to be rolling in the dough. And then her gym would be empty come February 10th-ish. No more people. No, but her rent was paid for the year, so she didn't have to worry. Anybody that came in after February was just a bonus, because all these people had joined the gym as their New Year's resolution and then petered out. So here's the thing, guys. Don't wait until December the 31st when you've had too much champagne to write down 5 resolutions on a napkin. I want you to create a vision for yourself. A vision. Vision is everything. So the very first step to doing that is look at this year, 2022. What didn't happen that you really wished had happened? Love, money, your health, your family. Like, what were your obstacles? What worked in your life and what didn't work? Answering those questions and reflecting back on this past year, it's going to help you figure out what you really, really want. Not what you should do, not what your doctor said to do, not what Kevin said to do on the radio 2 months ago, like what you really, really want. And once you have that, then you can come up with your goals around how to get you to what you really want, because no one is going to do anything. No one does anything meaningful without a vision and a goal. That's just true. Do you agree with me, Kevin, or disagree?
Oh, no, absolutely, I agree with you. If you just go floating around along life without a goal, without a real desire to do something, you're wasting your life, and number 2, you're not going to get anything done, and you're not going to enjoy everything that you have. What I believe is that you are entitled to the most perfect life for you, and you're proving that with the people you're working with.
Yes.
And I've seen that. But you're entitled to have a beautiful, wonderful, wonderful life, but nobody's going to give it to you.
No.
You get to go play with it, and
that's right,
and have fun with it.
Yes. And so after you create your vision and you write down some goals, then what I want you to do is set a timer on your phone for 17 minutes. Not 15, not 20, 17 minutes. There's a reason for this. And I want you to close your eyes and picture yourself at the end of 2023. Who are you with? What are you wearing? How much money is in your bank account? What does your body feel like? What does your heart feel like? What does your soul feel like? What have you had to let go of to gain what you've gained? Who new has come into your world? How many clients do you have if you own a business? What is your boss like if you are employed? I want you to really get there and be there. And why 17 minutes? Because 15 minutes, you're going to keep opening up your eyes, seeing how much time you have left. And 20 minutes, you're going to wander off into some world that doesn't have anything to do with your vision. There's some kind of magic in 17 minutes. You can do anything for 17 minutes. So once you are in that space where you really can see your future self, I want you to ask that version of you. And I'm having deja vu right now. So this is really, really important for someone who's listening or watching this. So I want you to ask that person who's sitting in December in 2023, ask them, what do I need from you to get me where it is that I want to go? And your future self will tell you exactly what you need. Maybe your future self will look at you and say, hey, you know what? You need to be more committed. Or why don't you give your television away to the Goodwill? Or buy some journals and start writing. But I promise you, your future person will tell you exactly what you need. And then I want you to, as soon as you open your eyes, write everything down that you saw, write everything down that you felt, write everything down that you heard, and then build a month-to-month plan from that vision. It's like fail-proof. It's fail-proof, but you have to live it. You got to do it.
And that's the exciting part.
That is the exciting part.
It's
and have you ever done that, Kevin? Have you ever visualized your future self?
We got to take a break real quick. Yes, I have, and we'll tell you that story when we come back because it bears repeating. But we're talking with Allyson Roberts. Go to AllysonRoberts.com. And she is a favorite of Positive Talk Radio, and she's also one of the top 100 coaches in the world, and that's documented. So there. So I'd like to thank her for being here. We're going to return after these couple of minutes. It's just 2 minutes. Just stay right where you are. We got more good stuff coming up, including the fact that one of the gifts that she has is that she is also very intuitive. And so she can help you with your intuitive side to get to where you not only say you want to go, but in your heart where you really deep down want to be and want to go. We'll be right back. You're listening to Positive Talk Radio on KKNW, 1150 AM. Hey there. I'm excited that you're listening right now. And if you like what we're doing here, you're going to love PositiveTalkRadio.net. On PositiveTalkRadio.net, each show, which is recorded live, is packed with positive information, with real people discussing real issues, and positive solutions that can work for everyone. I hope that you'll join us on PositiveTalkRadio.net and listen to all 340-plus shows. I think it's worth your time. But then, that's just me. That's PositiveTalkRadio.net, your home for great progressive, positive podcasts.
When you want to say more than words communicate, you can with flowers. Your custom boutique floral studio in Bothell, Washington is anaturaldesign.com, connecting you to nature through the language of flowers. Where your people are is where our flowers are beautiful. Your success is our goal. Now through New Year's Eve, here's your exclusive bonus for being our appreciated listener. Type in promo code Positive Talk Radio at checkout to receive $20 off your order. Our gift to you for being here with us today. anaturaldesign.com.
And welcome back, everybody, to Positive Talk Radio. It is a Monday afternoon, and this is our new time, by the way, which is at 3 p.m. on Mondays and 4 p.m. on Wednesdays and noon on Fridays. It's when we all get to come to you, and I can bring some of the most qualified and intuitive people and just plain gifted, smart people that I know. And Allyson Roberts is one of them. And I tell you, Allyson, and the feedback I'm getting from the show is, you always have such interesting guests on. And you're right, I do, because I have got some really cool people that I've come to know over time. And this is, just so you know, because you mentioned, did I ever have a goal, ever have a dream? This is my dream. Sitting here, talking to you, talking to other people with you that can make a difference and change their lives, whether they want to or not. They can listen to it, and every time I do this show, I know that somebody's listening.
Yeah.
That what we talk about will make a difference in their life, and that's what's important to me, and that's why it is so important that this show grows and develops into a mega blockbuster hit, not for me, not for my ego or whatever that might be, but because we can help more people. And that's why I really enjoy having people like you on, because you touch people, you help people. I have proof. I know it for a fact. And that is so cool. And so thank you for being here.
Of course. Yeah. And, I don't know if you know this, but I'm doing a TED Talk in April.
A what?
A TED Talk.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Good for you. When is that happening?
April the 8th, the day before Easter. And you know what? I was born the day before Easter. So you can't make that stuff up.
No, that's synchronicity at its finest.
Yes, exactly. And the reason I'm saying this is because the whole reason of me wanting to do a TED Talk is to teach more people about the power of our mind and the horror that can happen when we are not critical thinkers and we just believe every single thing that our parents taught us to believe or taught us to think. And we just grow up these manufactured copies of other people instead of becoming our true, authentic, intuitive, because we're all intuitive selves. And I agree with you, Kevin. Your show needs to, honest to God, it needs to be like on television, I think.
I couldn't agree more. That will take a leap, but I would really like to do that. But you know what we're going to do, and I better not say. But big changes are coming. If I can swing it and come the first of the year, that I need to talk to you about, and we'll talk about off air. But everybody that I'm talking to, I had a guy call today from a nationally known syndicated internet radio station who said, "I've listened to your show, and I want to host your show on our network."
Yes.
And now he did say, and it was a sales guy, so there's a financial thing involved, but
of course,
but more so, it's to get the word to whatever it is that you choose to do. Now, this is for me. This isn't for anybody else, but for me, this is what I choose to do because I love people and I love what and it's not me. See, this is the beautiful part. Is it's not me. I bring people on like you, and you do all the work. You do all the heavy lifting. All I do is enjoy the conversation.
I love that. But, I hear you. I mean, listen, people that live their passion, like you and me, Kevin, we live our passion. It's not always easy to live our passion. And, I wake up every morning, I meditate for my clients. I surround all of them with thousands of angels. I intercede for them. I pray on their behalf, just in case they may not have asked themselves for what it is that they need. I do a lot of work behind the scenes that my clients never, ever see for them. And I don't think that you can do the work on that level if it's not your passion.
That is so true. And by the way, the other thing that you said that I wanted to touch on, which was following your heart. One of my favorite lines in the world is, "Your heart is free. Have the courage to follow it."
Yeah.
And if you follow your heart, it may not be easy.
No.
I make a joke that after I did Positive Talk Radio, which, by the way, in January it will be 20 years, and
that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. That we started Positive Talk and now we're back and all that. But in that period, I joked that I had a bad country music song period, and I did. Everyone that was around me at that time that was doubting the fact that I should be doing the radio, that I should be doing what I'm doing, that I'm creating this, are now no longer in my life.
Yep, me too. Me too. I had doubters too.
And it's important that you not allow your doubters to sway the day, to win over. Oh yeah, you're probably right. I can't do that. I'm not. Who the hell do I think I am? And because people will tell you that out of their own insecurities or whatever they got going on, and it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
But if you allow them to do that, then they win. And so don't allow that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and the thing that I really want people to understand is that people want us to be like them so that they feel safe.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's all about the safety. And so that's why we should never, ever take anything personally, even the compliments, even the, I love you so, like my clients, telling you, oh, we love, I don't take that personally. I appreciate it, but I don't even take the compliments personally, because nothing that they're saying really is about me. It's really about them. So what they're saying when they say, oh my gosh, I love Allyson so much, what they're saying is, I love my life now. I love my life now.
That's it. And to a person, and there were 13 of them, and they all spoke at the event Behind the Power.
Yes.
They all to a person said, it's not about that Allyson is this wonderful guru that walks on water and does all this. It's that she just showed me who I am and who I can be.
Yes, that's it.
But the thing that you don't do is you don't sugarcoat it. You make sure that people know that where they stand, and if they want to change, you can.
Yep, you sure can.
But you've got to want to and put in the work.
Yeah, and you have to be brave, and my 4-year-old little grandson asked me the other day when we were standing in line for a roller coaster at Disney. He's like, Gammy, what is brave? And I said, brave is when you're scared, but you do it anyway. And that is what all 13 of the authors and speakers at Behind the Power, they were terrified, but they did it anyway. They're brave. And so we can either give into our fear every day and make a million excuses. It's raining, it's cold, it's dark. I'm not going to make the commitment to walk tonight. I'm not going to, do whatever. I mean, we can make them all day long, but if we're brave, which it does take bravery to become yourself. It does. If you're brave, you do it anyway. You just do it anyway.
By the way, I can't believe that anybody on this planet has the right to call you Grammy. You're way too young to be a Grammy.
Well, I'm 57.
Unless you were to win one. You can win a Grammy, but you can't be a Grammy. How about that?
Well, he actually calls me Gammy without the R.
Oh, Gammy. Okay. Yeah,
Gammy. And I am old enough. I'm old enough and I love it.
Well, you are a phenomenal human being. And I really do appreciate you. And for
I appreciate you too, Kevin.
I thank you. I accept that, because you're one of the first ones that came on my show when I changed it from my independence report to Positive Talk Radio. And that turned out to be a really good idea. And you kind of helped me inspire that to go back to my roots and to do Positive Talk Radio, because it's an important thing to do. And
it is.
I really had so much fun doing this. This is like the it's just phenomenal. But enough about me. Let's talk. So to help somebody in January, February, March timeframe to feel better about themselves, because January is easy. January, everybody's, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
Oh, January is so easy. It's so easy.
But that's why I had a friend of mine one time say, every time I go to the gym, it's full. He said, well, when do you go? January.
January.
If you went in February, it'd be empty.
That's right.
So how do you keep up the momentum? How do you make the desire to make the changes, do the vision, and then make it stick?
You have to build a bridge inside of your mind from your old stories and your old comfort zone. You have to create a new comfort zone and new stories. And the way that you build that bridge is with discipline, commitment, a plan, a vision, and usually a guide. I have my own coaches. I highly recommend coaches to everyone, because there's something about the human spirit, and it might be because, we're all conditioned from the age of like 5 or 6 to go to school or be homeschooled or whichever the case may be, where, we have accountability. We know we have to turn in homework. We have to make the grade. We have to behave. We have to be on our best, all the things, right? And so I think it's just ingrained in us that we perform better if we have some accountability. And so, people are like, someone asked me the other day, when are you going to fire your coaches, Allyson? You've had coaches for 10 years. I'm like, I'm never going to fire my coaches, because they see my blind spots and they talk to me the way I talk to my clients, which is, you're kind of in a lame ass story right now. And I really don't think that story that you're in is going to get you very far. So let's go back to the original story that you created when you wanted to do the thing, before you petered out and now you don't have any motivation. Let's go back to that story that you first created. And I think without that accountability, it takes a very special kind of person to stay on track and not slip back into old patterns.
How do you, because, you are successful, when your coach turns around and says, Allyson, you're just not doing what you said you were going to do. It's like, no, wait a minute. I'm in the top 100 coaches in the world. I've got, I'm good. I do this. I've got all these people. What the hell do you mean you're telling me that? Did you ever have that ego response?
Yes, 10 years ago, I did. And I had to eat my own words very, very quickly. My very first coach was Lisa Nichols from The Secret. She is very no nonsense, and I love her to pieces. But I think that I wanted her to rescue me. I wanted Lisa to do the heavy lifting. I wanted Lisa to praise me and lift me up and do all the work for me. And I'm paying you all this money. That was my whole thing. It's like, I'm paying you all this money, and all you do is tell me that how I'm doing everything wrong. And, it's like, well, if you would start listening to me, Allyson, then your life would probably start to turn around and you would probably start to feel a lot better. I mean, those just like was that kind of conversation of just like, ouch, you know. But she was right. I wasn't listening to her. I had very big goals and a very big vision, and I wanted instant success, especially because I was paying her a lot of money. I wanted instant gratification. I wanted to be the top 100 coaches in the world when I was just literally really getting started in the field of what I call coaching. I had been in the world of healing and therapy and all of that before. And then I stepped deep into coaching, wanting to be a better version of Allyson without being willing. I'm actually getting choked up when I'm thinking about it. Without being willing to look at the parts of me, Kevin, that were working against me. And it was, I'll never forget where I was. I'll never forget what time it was. And I just had a very clear, crisp moment of, you are standing in your own way, Allyson, and you're not doing the work, and you're not listening. You're not applying yourself. You're wanting this big thing, but you're wanting the money that you paid this very famous person who's had all of this success to be the success. And it was probably the reason that I'm sitting here today, is because of Lisa and her very honest words with me, and me being willing on some level to really take those words in, and it changed my life forever.
That's a really hard conversation to have with yourself, isn't it?
Oh man, it was gut wrenching. I remember I was on a beach in Florida, and thank goodness that no one was around, because they probably would have called the police. But I was just like screaming at the top of my lungs. I feel like I was releasing just years of pain and suffering, and also releasing all the meaning that I gave that pain and suffering, and all of the victim threads that were inside of me that just wanted so much for someone to just see my pain and do something about it. And the person that needed to do something about it was myself.
That's a beautiful story, because I think every one of us comes to a point like that in our lives when we're not happy with where we are, and that there has to be more. And I know I had that conversation with myself, 20 years ago, which is this all there is? I'm a corporate guy. I was a district sales manager. I had 12 reports. I did all, made good money, and had the house and the wife and the kids. And is this all there is? And why am I really here? And how can I be of service? And it took me a long time. And I just want you to assure everybody that even when you set those goals, and you set your vision board, and you put all those things into action, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to happen tomorrow or even the day after tomorrow. They're going to happen when the universe decides it's time for it to happen. And it's all in divine timing. Do you agree with that?
I do. And it may not even happen in 2023. But here's the thing. The best way I can describe this is that if your vision is let's just say your vision is a palm tree, the universe may lead you to an orange tree instead of the palm tree, because you have to experience the orange tree in order to get to the palm tree. So let go of the outcome, let go of what it's supposed to look like, and just keep focused on the vision and just follow inspired action, one foot in front of the other. I promise you guys, you will find me and write me and thank me if you just follow just that by itself.
It's awesome to have you here, and I want to thank you again for coming back. Allyson Roberts has been our guest, and you can go to AllysonRoberts.com. Now, I want to alert you, here's an alert coming up your way. You've got a program coming up in February that I want to touch on before we go. Tell us about it.
Well, I've changed the name of it. For 5 years, it's been Painless Pivots to Power. And I decided that to go into 2023, it's Painless Pivots to Purpose, because when we are in our purpose, we are also in our power. And I was charging for it, and now it's going back to being free. Hello, and you're welcome. So, so it's going to be February I think we're starting the 20-something February. But guys, here's the deal. I think it's the 20th is we're doing. I can't remember. Anyway, here's the deal. If you want to know more information about it, you can go to AllysonRoberts.com. That's ALLYSON Roberts. I'm doing Kevin's Shaw right now. .com. You can go there and fill in. I am not a spammer. I promise you, you're not going to get email from me every single day being like, hey, what's going on? Hey, you got to buy this thing from me. Hey. No. Go and sign up. You're going to get a free meditation from me that in and of itself is life-changing. But then when the time comes, you will start receiving emails of how to join us for free inside Painless Pivots to Purpose. And you do not want to miss this free webinar. It's a live webinar. It's not pre-recorded. You actually really do get me. You don't have to pay money to have me answer your questions. I'm there for you. I'm serving you for 3 delicious days of content it's life-changing. That's all I can say about it.
Everybody that was a speaker at Beyond the Power,
yep,
had started out with Painless Pivots to Purpose. I can't even say, hey, I did okay. With Painless Pivots to Purpose, and they were so taken with that course that they had to do more. And that's when you know you're on the right track. When you are following your heart and following your passion, and you run into something that you know you have to continue to do, that's when you know you're on your purpose. I think. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. 10,000%.
And we've only got a couple of minutes left, Allyson, before we got to go. But so I want to I'm going to step aside, and I want you from your heart to tell our audience anything you'd like them to know.
First of all, you are not your pain. You are not your past. And you are not the hurtful words that people have directed on your path and toward you. You are amazing. You are beautiful. You are powerful simply because you breathe. If you don't believe me, just know that when you were born, the only thing that every single person in the room was hoping was going to happen is that you were going to take your first breath. And that is how you know that you are worthy, simply because you breathe. So tonight, when you're lying down in your bed, I want you to just be willing to believe that you are that worthy. And I promise you, if you just start there, your life is going to look completely different in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month, and you won't even recognize yourself in a year.
And ignore those voices that say you're not good enough.
Yeah, well, don't ignore them. Just say, hey, not gonna believe you today.
That's a better way to put it than just to ignore them. Because if you ignore them, they're not going to go away.
They're just going to get better.
Yeah, that's it. Allyson, I want to thank you so much. And will you come back? Can I guarantee that we're going to have you back on?
Absolutely.
That would be sheer joy. And I want to thank you for doing this and for listening. If you're sitting in your parking lot or in your driveway because you got home 20 minutes ago, but you don't have an AM radio in your house, thank you. Because I hope this meant something to you. Because it happens all the time. You'd be amazed how often that happens, Allyson, during the show. So I want to thank you for being here and thank Eric for hosting us on KKNW. And I hope everybody has a great day. And just remember, take care of each other because each other's all we've got. We'll see you Wednesday at 4:00.